So today, still at my parents'. If you can like hear talking, I'm hoping you guys can't. I'm really hoping you guys can. My dad is working in the other room. But I wanted to continue reading Crave for you guys. Wow, I love how washed out my hair. It's so cute. But I did my nails. How cute. They're just press-ons. I'm pretty sure I bought them at like Ulta. I'm sure that they can be found at like Target or Walmart. And it is very sunny out. And I would also just like to apologize for the delay in videos. I wanted to make this sooner, but I ended up getting a cold, not COVID, just a cold. I tested and it was just a cold. It was really weird. But it's been a while since I just got a cold of any kind, even COVID, just like, you know. So yeah, I was sick for like a week, and I'm like kind of better now, so we're back. Yay! But I think today we should do chapter around 3 and 4. Did I even look how many chapters there are? Let's see. Is there not a chapter index? There's that, and there's the like front cover, right? Jesus Christ. And then the like main, and then like all the copyright information and my voice, and then it instantly goes into the like prologue. Okay. Well, that's fun. That's chapter 2. Maybe it's in the back. Let me check the back real fast. See if I'm missing something. Nope. Okay. Interesting. Just not a character, like chapter log. Interesting. Okay. Let's just get right into it, besties. So this is chapter 3. First chapter. Okay. Quick little synopsis, I guess, if you didn't watch the first bit. Girl, both of her parents passed away. She then has to move to Alaska with her cousin and uncle. Uncle owns and is principal to a academy in Alaska, and yeah, she's now there. She's met a mysterious boy. Okay, chapter 3. I need to tell this down. There we go. I'm keeping that bit in. Vampire queens aren't the only ones with a nasty bite. Oh, the sun just got super bright. It's a holy book now, y'all. Let's see, can I fix that? There we go. Determined to not let this staring contest that feels a little like a show of dominance go any longer, I cast around for something to break the tension and settle on a response. The only thing he's actually said to me so far. Who's got a nasty bite? He reaches past me and picks up the piece I dropped, holds it clean for me to see. She's really not very nice. I stared at him. She's just a chess piece. His obsidian eyes gleam. Your point? My point is, she's a chess piece. She's made of marble. She can't bite anyone. He inclines his head in a you never know gesture. There are more things in heaven and hell. Hortero and then are meant in your philosophy. Earth, I corrected before I can think of it. He crooks one midnight black brow in a question, so I continue. The quote is, there's more things in heaven and earth. I don't know that quote, I'm so sorry. Is it now? His face doesn't change, but there's something mocking in his tone that wasn't there before. Like I'm the one who made the mistake, not him. But I know I'm right. I'm an AP. My AP English class just finished reading Hamlet last month. My teacher spent forever on the quote. I think I like my version better, even though it's wrong, especially because it's wrong. I have no idea what I'm supposed to say, so I just shake my head. I wonder how lost I'll get if I go looking for Macy and Uncle Finn right now. Probably very, considering the size of this place. But I am beginning to think I should risk it. Because the longer I stand here, the more I realize this guy is as terrifying as he is intriguing. I'm not sure which is worse, and I'm growing less sure by the second that I want to find out. I need to go. I forced the words past a jaw I didn't even know I'd been clenching. Yeah, you do. He takes a small step back, nods towards the common room Macy and I just walked through. The door's that way. It's not the response I'm expecting, and it throws me off guard. So what, I shouldn't let it hit me on the way out? He shrugs. As long as you leave the school, it doesn't matter to me if it hits you or not. I warned your uncle you wouldn't be safe here, but he obviously doesn't like you much. Brutal. Anger flashes through me at his words, burning away the last numbness that has plagued me. Who exactly are you supposed to be anyway? Cadamir's very own unwelcome wagon? Unwelcome wagon? His tone is as obnoxious as his face. Believe me this is the nicest greeting you're going to get here. Is it, huh? I raise my brow, spreading my arms out wide. The big welcome to Alaska? More like welcome to hell. Now get the fuck out. Okay. Fuck, dude. The last is said in a snarl that yanks my heart out of my throat. But it almost slams my temper straight into the stratosphere. Is it that your stuck-up ass that makes you such a jerk, I demand? Or is it just your regular, charming personality? I like her. The words come out so fast and furious, I don't even know what I'm going to say. But once they're out, I don't regret them. How can I, when shock flits across his face, finally erasing that annoying smirk of his? At least for a minute, then he fires back. I got to say, if that's the best you've got, I'll give you about an hour. I know I shouldn't, but I ask, but he looks smug. I can't help it. Before what? Before something eats you. He doesn't say it, but the obvious is definitely implied, which pisses me off more. Seriously, that's what you decided to go with? I roll my eyes. Bite me, dude. No, I don't think so. He looks me up and down. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't even make an appetizer. Then he's stepping closer, leaning down until he's all but whispering in my ear. Maybe a quick snack, though. His teeth close with a loud, sharp snap that makes me jump and shiver at the same time, which I hate so much. I glance around us, curious if anyone else has witnessed this mess. But everyone who had eyes on me earlier, they seem like they're going out of their way to not glance in my direction now. One lanky boy with thick red hair even seems to keep his head awkwardly turned to the side. side, and walking across the room, he almost turns into another student, which tells me everything I need to know about this guy. Determined to regain control of the situation and myself, I take a big step back. Then, ignoring my pounding heart, the pterodactyls flapping around in my stomach, I demand, "What is wrong with you?" I mean, seriously, he's got the manners of a rabid polar bear. Got a century or 3? He smirks. His smirk is back. He's obviously proud of getting me. For a moment, just a moment, I think about how satisfying it would be to punch him right now in the center of that annoying mouth of his. You know what? You really don't have to be such a... Don't tell me what I have to be. Not when you don't have a clue about what you're wandering into here. Oh no, I do a mock afraid face. Is this the part of the story where you're telling me about the big bad monsters out here in big bad Alaskan wilderness? It's fine, you know the point. No, this is the part of the story where I show you the big bad monsters right here in the castle. He steps forward, closing the distance I managed to put between us. But there goes my heart again, beating like a caged bird desperate to escape. I hate it. I hate that he bested me. I hate that being so close to him makes me feel a bunch of feelings I shouldn't for a guy who's being a total jerk to me. I hate even more that the look in his eyes says he knows exactly how I'm feeling. The fact that I'm reacting so strongly to him when all he seems to feel for me is contempt is humiliating. So I only take one trembling step back, and I take another, and another. But he follows suit, moving one step forward every step I take backwards, until I'm caught between him and the chess table, pressing into the back of my thighs. Even though there's nowhere to go, even though I'm stuck right here in front of him, he leans closer still, gets closer still, until I can feel his warm breath on my cheek and the brush of his silky black hair against my skin. What are the little breath I managed to recover? Catches in my throat. What are you doing? I demand as he reaches past me. He doesn't answer at first, but then he pulls away. He's got one of those dragon pieces in his hand. He holds it up for me to see a single eyebrow of his arched provocatively and answers, "You're the only one who wanted to see the monsters." This one is fierce, eyes narrowed, talons raised, mouth open to show off sharp, jagged teeth. But it's still just a chess piece. I'm not afraid of a 3-inch dragon. Yeah, well, you should be. Yeah, well, I'm not. The words came out more staggered than I had intended, because he may have taken a step back, but he's still standing too close. So close I could feel his breath on my cheek and the warmth radiating from his body. So close that one deep breath will end with my chest pressing against his. The thought sets off a new kaleidoscope of butterflies deep inside me. I can't move back any further, but I can lean back over the table a little, which I do. All while those dark, fathomless eyes watch my every move, changing positions. Ooh, god damn, this lighting, so fabulous, right? Let's see. Silence stretches between us for 1, 10, 25 seconds before he finally asks, "So you aren't afraid of the things that go bump in the night? What are you afraid of?" My DoorDash order has been picked up, besties. Gotta make this quick. Images of my parents' mangled car flash through my brain, followed by pictures of their battered bodies. Wow. I was the only family they had in San Diego, or anywhere really, except for Finn and Macy. So I'm the one who had to go to the morgue. I'm the one who had to identify their bodies, who had to see them all bruised and bloodied and broken before the funeral home had a chance to put them back together again. The familiar anguish wells up inside me. But I do what I've been doing for weeks now. I shove it back down, pretend it doesn't exist. Not much. I tell him as flippantly as I can manage. There's not much to be afraid of when you've already lost everything that matters. That's right, bestie, you tell him. He freezes at my words, his whole body tensing up so much that it feels like he may shatter. Even his eyes change, the wildness disappearing between one blink and the next until only stillness remains. Stillness and agony so deep I can barely see it behind the layers and layers of defenses he's erected. But I can see it. More, I can feel it, calling to my own pain. It's awful and awe-inspiring feeling at the same time. So awful I can barely stand it. So awe-inspiring that I can't stop it. So I don't, and neither does he. Instead, we stand there, frozen, devastated, connected in a way I can feel, but can't comprehend by our own very separate horrors. I don't know how long we stay like that, staring into each other's eyes, acknowledging each other's pains because we can't acknowledge our own. Long enough for the animosity to drain right out of me. Long enough for me to see the silver flecks in the midnight of his eyes, distant stars shining in the darkness he makes no attempt to hide. More than long enough for me to get my rampaging heart under control, at least until he reaches out and gently takes a hold of one of my million girls. And just that easily, I forget how to breathe again. Heat slams through me as he stretches out the curl, warming me up for the first time since I opened the door of Philip's plane in Healy. It's confusing and overwhelming, and I don't have a clue what to do about it. 5 minutes ago, this guy was being a total douche to me, and now I don't know anything, except that I need space, and to sleep, and a chance to breathe for a few minutes. Within that mind, I bring my hands up and push his shoulders in an effort to get him to give me a little more room. But it's like pushing a wall of granite. He doesn't budge. Not at least until I whisper, please. He waits a second longer, maybe 2 or 3, until my head is muddled and my hands are shaking, before he finally takes a step back and lets the curl go. As he does, he sweeps his hand through his dark hair. His longish bangs part just enough to reveal a jagged scar from the center of his left eyebrow to the left corner of his mouth. How did you not see that? Whatever. It's fine. Plot convenience. It's thin and white, barely noticeable against the paleness of his skin, but it's there nonetheless. Especially if you look wicked V, because at the end of his dark eyebrow, it should make him less attractive, should do something, anything, to negate the incredible power of his looks. But somehow, the scar only emphasizes the danger, turning him from another pretty boy with angelic looks into someone with a million times more compelling. A fallen angel with a bad boy vibe for miles, and a million stories to back up that vibe. To back that vibe up, not back up that vibe up. That would be funny. Combined with the anguish I felt inside him, it makes him more human, more relatable, more devastating. Despite the darkness that rolls off him in waves, a scar like this only comes from unimaginable injury. Hundreds of stitches, multiple operations, months maybe even years of recovery. I hate that he suffered like this. Wouldn't wish it on anyone, let alone this boy who infuriates and terrifies me and excites me all at the same time. He knows I noticed the scar. I could see it in the way his eyes narrow, in the way his shoulders stiffen, and his hands clench into a fist, in the way he ducks his head so his hair falls over his cheek again. I hate that. I hate that he thinks he has to hide something that he should wear as a badge of honor. It takes a lot of strength to go through something like this. A lot of strength to come out the other side. He should be proud of that strength, not ashamed of the mark that it has left. I reached out before I make a conscious decision to do so. Cut the scarred cheek in my hand. His dark eyes blaze. I think he's going to shove me away, but in the end, he doesn't. He just stands there, lets me stroke my thumb back and forth across his cheek, across his scar, for several moments longer. I'm sorry, I whispered, when I could finally get when I finally get my voice past a painful lump of sympathy in my throat. This must have hurt horribly. Girl, you just met him. This is not the time to be mentioning a scar, okay? That also means it goes over his eye. I feel like that should have been an important mention, but whatever. He doesn't answer. Instead, he closes his eye, sinks into my palm, takes a long, shuddering breath. The other students are watching this too. Everyone's watching this unfold. Then he's pulling back, stepping away, putting real distance between us for the first time since he snuck up behind me, which suddenly feels like a lifetime ago. I don't understand you, he tells me suddenly. His black, magic voice so quiet that I have to strain to hear him. There's more things in heaven and hell, Ortega, than are dreamt of in your philosophy, I answered, deliberately using his earlier misquote. He shakes his head as if trying to clear, takes a deep breath, and blows out slowly. If you won't leave, I can't leave, I interject. I have nowhere else to go. My parents are dead. I know. He smiles grimly. Fine. You're not going to leave. Then you need to listen to me very, very carefully. What do you? Keep your head down. Don't look too closely at anyone or anything. He leans forward, his voice dropping to a low rumble as he finishes. And always, always, watch your back. Okay, I had to take a little break, but I got some Snapple apple, and let me tell you guys, this is the best. And no, it is not up for debate on whether or not this is the best Snapple flavor, because it's just definitively the best. So, you know. It has please, there we go. Great. I miss their glass bottles though. Their glass bottles were the absolute best. Can you not wash me out? I get it. I'm really pale, but please. Okay. I'm a person. Oh my god. Ooh. Is that too loud? Oh, I wear a ring. So, fun little noises, I'd say. Okay. Oh my god, can you guys still see me? Jesus Christ. I hope you guys can still see me because I can't really see me. I'm sure it's fine. So, chapter 4. Shining booms down the hallway, and I turn towards him instinctively. I smile and give him a little wave, even though there's a part of me that feels frozen in place after being on the receiving end of what sounds like an awful lot like a warning. That, I don't think I read that sentence right, but it's how it has been read now. I turn back to confront Mr. Tall, Dark, and Surly. Shirley? Okay. In the middle of that, my mom came in. So shout out to my mom for bringing me my food. To figure out what exactly it is he is thinking I need to be afraid of. But he's gone. I glance around, determined to figure out where he went. Before I can spot him, Uncle Finn is wrapping me around in a bear hug and lifting me off my feet. I hang on for dear life, letting the comforting smell of him, the same woodsy scent my dad used to have, wash over me. I'm so sorry I didn't meet you at the airport. A couple of kids got hurt. I had to take care of things here. Don't worry about it. Are they okay? They're fine, he shakes his head. Just a couple of idiots being idiots. You know how boys are. I start to tell him that I have no idea how boys are. My last encounter is proof of that. Some weird instinct I don't understand warns me to not bring up this guy I was talking to, so I don't. Instead, I laugh and nod along. Enough about the duties of headmaster, he says, pulling me in for a while. Quicker hug before leaning down to study my face. How was your trip? More importantly, how are you? You know what, I just have to sit in the sunlight. It feels weird to have, I don't know. It was long, I tell him, but it was fine, and I'm okay. The phrase of the day. I'm pretty sure okay is a bit of an overstatement, he sighs. I can only imagine how hard the last few weeks have been for you. I wish I could have stayed longer after the funeral. It's fine. The estate company you called took care of almost everything. Heather and her mom took care of the rest, I swear. It's obvious he wants to say more, but as obvious that he doesn't want to get into anything too deep in the middle of the hallway. So in end, he just nods and says, okay then. I'll leave you to settle with Macy, but come see me tomorrow morning and we'll talk about your schedule. Plus, I'll introduce you to our counselor, Dr. Wainwright. I think you'd like her. The sun is moving more and more into my face. Right, Dr. Wainwright, the school counselor who is also a therapist, according to Heather's mom, but not just any therapist. My therapist. Apparently, she and my uncle both think I need one. I would argue, but since I had to work really hard not to cry every morning in the shower for the last month, I figure they might be onto something. Okay, sure. Are you hungry? I have dinner set up since you missed it. There's something we really need to discuss. He narrows his eye, looks over me. Although, how are you doing with the altitude? I'm okay. Not great, but okay. Yeah, he looks me up and down, then counts sympathetically before turning to Macy. Make sure she takes a couple of Advil when she gets to your room, and that she drinks plenty of water. I'll send up some soup and ginger ale. Let's get things light tonight. See how you're doing in the morning. Light. Sounds perfect. Since even the thought of eating right now makes me want to throw up. Okay, sure. You're gonna like it here, Grace. I promise. Things will get easier. I nod. What else am I going to do? I'm not glad I'm here. Alaska feels like the moon right now. I'm all for things getting easier, but I want to go one day without feeling like shit. I'm hoping tomorrow would be it, but since I'm tall, dark, surly, I can't, all I can think is the way that he looked at me when he told me to leave Catamere. The way he glowered when I refused. So, probably not. I figure we're done here. I reach for the handle of one of my suitcases, but my uncle says, "Don't worry about these. I'll get one of the guys too." He breaks off and calls down the hallway, "Hey Flint, come here and give me a hand, will you?" Macy makes a sound halfway between a groan and death rattle as her father stares down the corridor, presumably trying to catch up with this Flint person. "Come on, Dad. Let's go. Come on. Let's go before Dad chases him down." She grabs two of my suitcases and practically runs for the stairs. "What's wrong with Flint?" I ask as I grab my last remaining suitcase, trying to keep up with her. "Nothing. He's great, amazing, also super hot. He doesn't need to see us like this." I could see how she could think he doesn't need to see me like this, since I'm pretty sure I look half dead. "You look great." No, I don't. Come on, let's get out of... "Hey, Macy, don't worry about those suitcases. I'll get them for you." Dee's voice booms from several steps below us. I turn just in time to see a guy in ripped jeans and white t-shirt charging towards us. He's tall, like nearly as tall as... I'm not gonna keep saying this kid's name. Tall, mysterious guy. And just muscular. But that's where the resemblance ends, because everywhere that the other guy is dark and cold, this one is light and fire. Bright amber eyes that seem to burn from within, warm brown skin, black afro that looks amazing on him. And perhaps most interesting of all, there's a smile in his eyes. It is different from the other guy's iciness as the stars just outside the window. From that endless midnight blue in the sky. "We've got them," Macy says, but he ignores her, bounding up the stairs 3 at a time. He stops next to me first, gently eases the handle of the suitcase from the near death grip I got on it. "Hey there, new girl, how are you?" "I'm okay, just..." "She's sick, Flint," my uncle calls down from below. The altitude is getting to her. "Oh, right." His eyes blaze with sympathy. "That sucks." I like Flint. Flint's funny. Yeah, a little bit. "Well, come on, new girl. Come on my back. I'll give you a ride up the stairs." I'm digging this kid. I think he's funny so far. Just the idea has my stomach revolting even more. But no, that's okay." I back away from him a little. "I can walk. Come on." He bends one knee to make it easier for me to grab onto his broad shoulders. "You got a long 3 flights ahead of you." They are a long 3 flights. I still, seriously, would rather die than climb on a random stranger's back. "Pretty sure they'll be longer for you if you're carrying me." "Nah, you're so little, I wouldn't even notice. Now, are you going to get on, or am I going to pick you up and toss you over my shoulder?" "You wouldn't," I tell him. "Try me," he says with an endearing grin that makes me laugh. But I'm still not getting on his back. No way is this one of the hottest guys in school going to carry me up these stairs on his back or over his shoulder. No freaking way. I don't care how much the altitude is bothering me. "Thanks for the offer, really." I give him the best smile I can manage right now. But I think I'm just going to walk slowly. I'll be fine. Flint shakes his head. "Stubborn much?" But he doesn't push the issue the way I'm afraid he will. Instead he asks, "Can I at least help you up the stairs? I hate to see you fall down a flight or 2 on your very first day." was good. Masterpiece of a character. How pow. Suspicion has me narrowing my eyes on him. Like this. He slides his arm around my waist. I stiffen at the unexpected contact. What are you? This way, you can lean on me if the steps get too much, deal? I start to say absolutely no deal, but the laughter in his bright amber eyes as he looks down on me, expecting me to do just that, has me changing my mind. Well, that and the fact that Uncle Finn and Macy both seem totally fine with the whole thing. Okay, fine. Deal. I say with a sigh as the room starts to spin around me. I'm Grace, by the way. Yeah, I know. Foster told us you were coming. He heads up the stairs and propelling me along with his right arm across my back. And I'm Flint. He pauses at the foot of the stairs for a moment, reaching for my bags. Oh, don't worry about the suitcase, Macy says, her voice in 3 octaves higher than it normally is. I can get them. No doubt, Mace. He winks at her. But you might as well use me if I'm volunteering. He then grabs 2 of the bags in his left hand and head up the stairs. We start going slowly, thankfully. I'm struggling to breathe after only a few steps. But before long, we're moving fast. Not because I've gotten used to the altitude, but Flint has taken on most of my weight and is basically carrying me up the stairs with an arm around my waist. I know he's strong. All those muscles under his shirt definitely aren't for show, but I can't believe he's this strong. I mean, he's carrying 2 heavy bags and me up the stairs. He isn't even breathing hard. We eventually ended up meeting Macy, who was huffing and puffing her way up the final steps with my last bag to the top. Now you can let me down now. I tell him as I start to squirm away, since he pretty much carried me anyway. Just trying to help. He says with a wiggle in his eyebrow that has me laughing despite my embarrassment. He lets me down. I expected him to pull away with my feet are finally going back to the ground. Instead, he keeps his arm around my waist and moves me across the landing. You can let go now, I say again. I'm fine now. But my knees wobble as I say so, another wave of dizziness moving through me. I try to hide it, but I must do a bad job because the look on Flint is giving me goes from amused to concerned in this space of 2 seconds flat. Then shakes his head. Yeah, until you pass out and pitch over the railing. Nope. Headmaster Foster put me in charge of getting you to your room safely. This is what I'm going to do. Are you breathing sunlight? God damn. Okay, back to it. I start to argue, but I'm just feeling unsteady enough that I decide accepting his help might actually be better. Might be the better part of the valor. I just nod as he turns around and calls to my cousin. You okay there, Maze? Just great, she gasps, all but dragging my suitcase across the landing. I told you I could have taken it, Flint says to her. It's not the weight of the suitcase, she snaps back. It's how fast I have to carry it. Got longer legs, he glances around. So which hallway am I taking her to? We're in the north wing, he says, pointing in the hallway directly to our left. Follow me. Despite all her huffing and puffing, she takes off at a near run with Flint and me hot on her heels as we race across the landing. I can't help but be grateful for the supporting arms. He's still landing me. I always thought I'm in pretty good shape, but life in Alaska obviously takes fit to a whole nother level. There are 4 sets of double doors surrounding the landing, all heavy carved doors. Macy stops at a set marked north. Before she can reach the handle, the door flies open that she barely managed to jump back before it hits her. Hey, what about... She breaks off when 4 guys walk through the door. She's not even there. All 4 are brooding and sexy, is all get out. I've got eyes for one of them. The one from downstairs. He doesn't have eyes for me though. Instead, he walks right by, face blank and gaze glacier cold, like I'm not even there. Like he doesn't even see me, even though he has to skirt me to get by. Like he didn't just spend 15 minutes with me talking earlier. Except, as he passes, his shoulder brushes against the side of my arm. Even after everything we talked about each other, heat sizzles through me at the contact. And although logic tells me the touch was accidental, I can't shake the idea that he did it on purpose. Anymore that I can stop myself from turning and watch him walk away. Just because I'm angry, I assure myself. Just because I want the chance to tell him off for having disappeared like that. Macy doesn't say anything to him or the other guys, neither does Flint. Instead, they wait for them to be out of the way and then head down the hall like nothing had happened. Like we weren't just blatantly snubbed. Flint tightens his warm arm around my waist, and I can't help but wonder why the guy with ice in his vein makes my skin tingle, and the one literally lending me his warmth leaves me cold. Looks at me like my messed up life is totally messing with my brain as well. I want to ask who they are. I want to ask who he is, so I can finally have a name. Where was I? So I can finally have a name with his insane body and even more insane face. But now doesn't feel like the time. So I keep my mouth shut and concentrate on looking around instead of obsessing over a guy I don't even like. The north hallway is lined with heavy wooden doors on both sides. Most of them have decorations hanging from them, dried roses in the shape of an X on one, what looks to be an elaborate set of wind chimes on another, and a ton of bat stickers all over the third. I can't decide if the person living there has a dream of being a chiropractor or if they are a simple fan of Batman or a cryptozoologist. Sorry about that. Either way, I'm absurdly fascinated by all the decorations, especially the wind chimes. I can't imagine there's much wind in the indoor hallway, but not surprised when Macy stops at the most elaborate, adorned of them all. A garland of fresh flowers winds its way across the doorframe, and lines of threaded multicolored crystals fall from the top door to the bottom of a fancy kind of beaded curtain. Here we are, Macy says as she throws open the door with a flourish. Home sweet home. Before I could take a step over the threshold, another hot guy dressed entirely in black passed by, and although he pays us no attention more than the others did in the north hallway door, the hair on the back of my neck stands up, because even though I'm sure I'm imagining this, it suddenly feels an awful lot like I'm being watched. And with that, everyone, that was chapter 3 and 4 of Crave by Tracy Wolff. Hopefully videos will become more consistent